She was on my fence at 2 in the morning. Yeah, you heard that right, 2 a.m., like some suburban outlaw hopped up on a bad idea and entitlement. I'd moved to this sleepy corner of Mapler Crest thinking, hey, peace at last, just me and my mortgage-free slice of the American dream, right? But there she was, this so-called HOA president, creeping through my yard as if she had a set of keys and a deed with her name on it. You ever see something so absurd you just stand there wondering if you're the one dreaming? My son's smart fence. Best money I ever spent lit her up like she'd stepped on the stage at Madison Square Garden. Speakers, booming security cameras catching every bit of her panic. The scream she let out still rings in my ears. Sometimes I'm not gonna lie. Now tell me, what would you have done finding your new welcoming committee trespassing before the rooster even thought about waking up? Thing is, moving day should have been simple. A victory lap after years busting my hump, climbing from paralegal up to logistics ops manager. Those boxes stacked like dominoes in my driveway, every single one. A symbol I'd made it out of renting hell. No loans, no bank hovering, just me, my name on the deed, and a fridge full of cold beer waiting to celebrate. All that quiet, all that hope. It flipped in an instant the first time Meredith Colton showed up, clipboard in hand, smile fixed like a car dealership banner. But what got me wasn't the smile, it was the way she circled my car, peering through the windows, inspecting my license plate, practically measuring my driveway with her eyes. Then she marches up all sugar and vinegar. "Welcome to Mapler Crest," she says, but trust me, that tone had more barbed wire than a cattle fence. "I'm Andre Whitman," I say, reaching out to shake her hand like a decent neighbor should. She just glances at my hand, flips a few pages on that clipboard like my name somewhere in the fine print of her empire. "Yes, we received notice of the ownership transfer," she says, air quoting ownership like it's some kind of dirty word. That's when I knew this wasn't a welcome. This was an interrogation. She tells me about protocols for new residents, about maintaining stability. All those soft focus phrases that never quite mean what they sound like. When I press for details, she dodges. "You'll understand in time," she says. I should have walked away right then, but curiosity's a dangerous habit. Then comes the kicker. She tells me straight-faced that for 30 days I have to surrender my house keys to the Association for Safekeeping. I waited for the punchline, but it never came. "You serious?" I ask. "Completely," she answers, tapping her pen like a judge at sentencing. "Standard procedure for residents under 40. Because nothing says community trust like handing over your keys to a stranger you met 10 minutes ago, right?" Now, I'm not one to make a scene, but there's a line between quirky and criminal, and she was tap dancing on it. "Ma'am," I said, keeping my voice even, "I own this property outright. No loans, no liens. Those keys stay with me." She doesn't flinch. "Oh, I'm sure you have paperwork." She waves me off, but paperwork isn't the same as community acceptance. She leans in, whispers about cooperation, as if she's offering me protection for myself. That chill that ran down my spine. That's the moment I realized she'd done this before, and worse, others must have caved. I looked around, wondering how many of my neighbors handed over their keys just to avoid making waves. She gives me 72 hours to reconsider. Says after that we'll explore alternative measures. That's the kind of threat you remember. As she leaves, I see the neighbors peeking out, some sympathetic, some just enjoying the show. A few looking like they'd rather eat a live frog than take sides. Suddenly, those moving boxes felt like anchors. My son Jaden rolled in, 2 days later, pickup bed crammed with enough gear to turn the place into Fort Knox. 22 years old, but sharp as a tax security software engineer by day, stubborn protector by nature. He listens to my story and his face hardens. "Dad, you spent your career looking out for other people. Now it's my turn." And man, did he mean it. Cameras, motion sensors, facial recognition, automatic alerts, the works. He even programmed a boundary system that pulled county land records in real time. If someone claimed authority, it'd know before they finished talking. I checked with my old law enforcement buddies. Everything was legal as long as the cameras pointed inward. Jaden got it running by Thursday. That night, while I'm washing dishes, the system goes off a movement at the back fence. And there she is, Rebecca Ellis, our resident enforcer, apparently planting little red surveyor markers like she's plotting a coup, snapping photos of my mailbox, my grandfather's chair, my old Dodge, anything she could use as evidence. The speaker kicks in, "You are currently on private property. All activity is being documented." You should have seen her run, drop those markers, and bolted like a spooked deer. Jaden reviewed the footage. This was the 7th time she'd trespassed, and I'd only noticed her once before. Suddenly, this wasn't just a nosy neighbor problem, it was a criminal enterprise. That evening, Ruth from 2 houses over knocks on my door. That woman tried the same scam on us last fall, she confides, handing over a stack of photocopied violation notices, mailbox too high, driveway too wide, grass too green, you name it. Turns out half the neighborhood had paid up or caved. The anger in Ruth's voice made me realize this was bigger than just my property, it was an organized operation. We called an emergency meeting at the Civic Center, fluorescent lights buzzing, old coffee stinking up the place. 43 folks showed up, more than the blood drive ever gets. Rebecca arrives in a fresh blazer PowerPoint loaded, painting herself as the guardian of community safety. She flashes doctored maps, photos of my house, and rants about military-grade surveillance. I stood up and called her out, reminded everyone that official county records show no such association, no governance, just empty threats. Then the dam burst. Margaret from Oak Street garden violation. Tom anonymous warning letters. Linda photos of her kids taken over the fence. One by one, the stories poured out. Rebecca started shouting, "You don't know what I sacrificed for this neighborhood," but the mask was off. The crowd wasn't buying it anymore. Turns out the association never even existed in county records. No bylaws, no charter, nothing. Every document was forged, some amateur, some professional. Fake security guards started showing up, badges made on a home printer, clipboards with threats about inspections. I called the real cops. Those imposters scattered, leaving their props behind like kids busted playing dress up. But the pressure didn't stop. Anonymous letters at work, rumors spreading, neighbors whispering. Someone edited a video of me handing my spare key to my college roommate, helping move a couch, cropped it to look like I was making some shady handoff. People started avoiding me, convinced by a few seconds of manipulated footage. My attorney dug up the original file, proved it was all lies. We live-streamed the truth, and neighbors realized how badly they'd been played. Apologies rolled in, but the damage was done, at least for a while. Meredith, desperate now, tried every trick. Fake eviction notices, stalking with unmarked cars, even tried to get me fired. But once the community saw the receipts, real evidence, not smoke and mirrors, they turned on her. The final blow came in court. Judge Hendricks demanded actual bylaws, actual authority. Meredith fumbled, handed over forgeries so obvious you could see the glue. County officials testified no such association ever filed. Digital forensics traced fraudulent edits straight to her computer. When the judge read out the charges, fraud, extortion, forgery, impersonating government officials, the gasp in that courtroom felt like justice you could reach out and touch. Even the treasurer who'd forged signatures broke down and confessed, threw Meredith under the bus before she could blink. The sentence, $23,000 in penalties, restitution to victims, barred from any management role for life, mandatory counseling, and a one-way ticket out of our county. Funny thing, she showed up at my porch just before sentencing, asking for mercy. Her voice shaking, hands trembling. She apologized, begged me to ask the judge for leniency. I pointed at my grandfather's chair, the one she'd called a violation, and told her, "That's real heritage. Real community. What you did was just theft with a clipboard." Her tears told me she finally understood. In the months since, the neighborhood's become what it was always meant to be, a place where people pitch in, not tear each other down. We elected real leaders, set up transparent votes, and drew a hard line between voluntary association and independence. No more threats, no more intimidation, just honest neighbors and clear rules. Sometimes standing on my porch, I catch the old wooden chair creaking in the breeze and think about how easily authority can go rotten when nobody pushes back. Maybe that's the lesson: bullies thrive on silence. You want justice, you document, you speak up, and you never ever hand over your keys. So what do you think? Does standing up make you the bad guy, or is it the only way to keep your home safe? Drop your story or your take in the comments, because honestly, I'd love to know how you'd handle a neighbor like that. And hey, if you got something out of this, hit that little thanks button below. Until next time, keep your fences smart, your paperwork sharp, and your neighbors honest.